unnecessarily being bred for nothing but profit every single day, and then abused, abandoned, killed, or sold for their body parts.
Hi, I'm Jordan DeGroat.
The exotic animal trade. This is the practice of buying, selling, importing, exporting, and breeding animals that are not native to the U.S. These animals can range anywhere from hedgehogs to tigers. Thousands of animals enter the trade each year. They enter it either through breeders or by capturing them from their natural habitat and transporting them to the U.S. This billion-dollar industry has led to the mistreatment, abuse, and death of thousands of animals each year.
I first became aware of the exotic animal trade when I began to volunteer for an animal sanctuary called Lions, Tigers, and Bears that rescues exotics. I was motivated the most when I heard the shocking story of Raja and Natasha, two Bengal tigers that were victims of the exotic animal trade. A man bought them as cubs to give to his wife as a gift for their wedding present. Of course, the owners couldn't provide the correct care that these two tigers needed, so they kept them in a 6 by 12 foot cage lined with concrete on the bottom. The two tigers were not fixed, and Natasha gave birth to countless numbers of cubs. Thankfully, after much coaxing, the owners gave the tigers up to Lions, Tigers, and Bears. But when they arrived, the keepers discovered that Natasha was pregnant again with 2 cubs. I was stunned by their story, so when I got home, I began looking up facts about the exotic animal trade, and I learned that there's more tigers captive in the US than there are in the wild around the world. It surprised me to know that people think they can keep wild animals as pets, and it also saddens me knowing that not many of them have the proper care that they truly need. Raja now has arthritis because his previous owners kept him in such a small cage and he was not able to use his muscles as he should have been able to.
According to BornFreeUSA.com, there are 8 states that have no laws against the ownership of exotic animals. This means that your neighbor could own a lion or a tiger and you wouldn't even know about it. Less than half the states have a complete ban on the ownership of exotic animals, and the rest of the states require the owners to either apply for a permit or register the animal with the state. Passing laws that ban the ownership of exotic animals, especially big cats and bears, not only can save thousands of animals from abuse and neglect, it also is beneficial to public safety.
According to BigCatRescue.org, there may be more than 10,000 large exotic cats under private ownership in the country. Oftentimes, when a private owner can no longer care for their animal, they are sold for their fur and body parts. Surprisingly, a dead tiger is worth more than a live one. My time at Lions, Tigers, and Bears transformed from a volunteer position into a mission to spread knowledge about the dangerous and cruel trade. I began speaking in the animal encounter area along with other volunteers, where guests met domestic animals that made good pets. Soon after, I began taking guests around the sanctuary on tours, where I introduced them to the animals and educated them with everything I knew about the exotic animal trade and private ownership. I believe that the most effective route to stop the trade is through education of the public. Eventually, the public frustration will pressure the government, and they will have to make a change.
I spoke with Bobby Brink, the founder of Lions, Tigers, and Bears, to see what efforts she was making to stop this trade.
I'm Bobby Brink, founder and director of Lions, Tigers, and Bears here in Alpine, California, and we are working on legislation to try to change the exotic animal trade in our country. Most people don't know the exotic animal trade is second to drugs and weapons. There's thousands of unwanted bears and thousands of unwanted tigers that need homes.
The legislation she is trying to pass is called Big Cats and Public Safety Protection Act. The act will nationally ban ownership of big cats, which will lead to the safety of the public.
This act can make a huge dent in the exotic animal trade. I decided to get as many people as I could to contact their representatives to support the act. I even gave a presentation to my class and encouraged my peers to write letters along with their parents. I offered sample letters and even offered to mail the letters for others. The exotic animal trade is detrimental to animals involved, but we can stop it. Write to your local representatives encouraging support of laws in favor of stopping the trade and private ownership of exotics. Do not support unaccredited zoos or sanctuaries, and make sure you spread the word. If we can form a strong community of supporters, we can be unstoppable. It's time to give voice to the voiceless.